ESPN Stephen A. told the co-host of The View he was not surprised by the outcome of the 2024 election, saying President-elect Donald Trump's victory was a clear mile away. I was surprised at how lopsided it was. I am not surprised by the outcome. I saw the outcome coming from a mile away. You have to take into account, listen, we respect our President Joe Biden, but here's the reality. He got into office. He promised to be a transitional president, to be a stopgap, to pave the way for somebody else to come on board, Smith said, noting the Democrats' success in the 2022 midterms. Smith continued to describe the Democratic Party's situation after the president decided to stay in office, which set off a chain of events leading to Kamala Harris replacing him on the ticket and her defeat at the hands of Trump. Emphasizing that Kamala Harris was not necessarily replaced, but she was chosen. She wasn't really voted in. Before we begin, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you're notified whenever I post a new video. Follow me on my social media as we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, because we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Amen. So we're going to go ahead and watch this clip, and then I'm going to tell you my thoughts and opinions about this, because this is so... It's kind of like, it's a level of frustration, because it's just like, if you're in the Democratic Party, I just been saying from the get-go, it was 100% preventable. I think Donald Trump winning was 100% preventable. But I truly believe still this day, the Democratic Party just handed it to him. They generally handed it to him. But let's just go ahead and watch this, and then we're going to get into it.
Surprised at how lopsided it was. I was not surprised by the outcome. Mm-hmm. Right. I saw the outcome coming from a mile away. You have to take into account, listen, we respect our president, Joe Biden, but here's the reality. He got into office. He promised to be a transitional president, to be a stopgap, to pave the way for somebody else to come on board. Into the midterms, it was supposed to be a red wave. It did not happen. The Democrats was flying high. He felt the momentum because he was the incumbent. And instead of leaving, he decided to stay. When he decided to stay, the Democrats were in a quandary because they were expecting him to leave. Now he wants to stay. They're around him. They're seeing the fastball has dissipated to some degree. They're seeing that he's not what he used to be. And what do you do about it? You grease the skids. There's no primary for him to experience. You let him go on stage June 27th, and clearly he was exposed. 3.5 weeks later, he's forced and compelled to step away because donors to the Democratic establishment, they were not going to support that. And then Kamala Harris is inserted. I don't blame her.
Emphasis on the inserted. VP Harris took Biden's place on Democratic ticket in July. There wasn't no primary. Clock it. Donald Trump became the president-elect early Wednesday morning as he told his supporters he would fix everything. So that is what the clip that I wanted to show y'all. I agree with Stephen A. Smith. I think Stephen A. Smith is one of the few people that I think makes sense here and there. But the thing with Stephen A. Smith is that I wouldn't really necessarily call him a Republican, but I think he's more right-leaning than he tries to portray himself as. I think because right now in society, it is a safe spot and it's socially acceptable to be very liberal, to be very left. And so I personally think a lot of these people who are portraying themselves as left-leaning or liberal, they are silently probably voted for Donald Trump. But that's neither here or there. That can't be proven. That's just my thoughts and opinion. So we're going to go ahead and finish reading this off. When he decided to stay, the Democrats were in a quandary because they were expecting him to leave. He continued. They're around him. They're seeing the fastball has dissipated to some degree. They're seeing that he's not what he used to be. And what do you know about it? You grease the skids. There's no primary for him to experience. You let him go on stage June 27th, and clearly he was exposed. And then Kamala Harris is inserted. I don't blame her one bit. I thought she did a phenomenal job. That is where I disagree. I disagree with that because it's almost like VP Harris is part of the blame. Not only is Joe Biden part of the blame, VP Harris is part of the blame, the DNC is part of the blame, the establishment is part of the blame, all the left-leaning news outlets that was enabling his behavior, you're part of the blame as well. Because the problem that I see within the Democratic Party, it's almost like they only want to hear what makes them feel good. The moment that you say something that may be true, but it makes them feel physically uncomfortable, you're going to be called every name in the book. You're going to be called divisive. You're going to be called whatever they're feeling to call you at that given moment. Because you have to understand, 2/3 of left-leaning voters originally said they did not want Biden again. What on God's green earth made you think, okay, vast majority of the people who supported us does not want Joe Biden. I think we should insert Joe Biden again. Like, what? Huh? That was the biggest mistake the Democratic Party could have made, not having a primary. Not only that, but the moment that Joe Biden took office, you should have been prepping people in our face. You should have been putting Mark Kelly in our face. You should have been putting Gretchen Whitmer in our face. You should have been putting all these different options of potential next president candidates or whatever you want to call them in our faces in order for us to get more comfortable around them, to see what they're more about, instead of recycling the old politicians. But the fact that Joe Biden did another term and they had these people defending him saying, oh, well, if he thinks he's capable, then I support him. Where's the logic in that? So if I think I'm capable to fly across the street and land on that building across the street, does that mean I should do, like, what are we talking about here? Where's the logic behind that? Just because he feels like he's capable, that's why you're supporting him? How did that end up for you? And then people are saying, oh, it's not VP Harris's fault. She's part of the blame. You co-signed it. You definitely co-signed it. And you knew behind the scenes. Everyone close to Joe Biden, there's not a soul that can convince me otherwise. Everyone close to Joe Biden behind the scenes, y'all knew he was not capable for another 4 years. Being president of the United States is a high, stressful job. I think people who are pushing him, and I said this in my previous TikTok videos, people who are pushing Joe Biden to run again, it was based off personal selfish reasons. You can't tell me otherwise. You cannot tell me otherwise. Smith later says you have folks that are independent. I'm not talking about those on the right or the left, just independents who say, wait a minute, she didn't experience a primary either, and didn't. The last time we saw her in a primary was 4 years ago, and she didn't even make it to Iowa. Ouch. Yikes. They use that as an excuse to point to her level of inexperience. You've got the war in Russia, Ukraine. You've got the Israel and Palestine conflict, Hamas and Hezbollah, and all that other stuff he said before pointing to Trump's criticism of Harris. Smith also recently took aim at Harris's celebrity endorsements, and he goes on and on and on. But we're going to stop it right there because it's just like, this is not something we haven't heard before. Like, it was to the point where VP Harris's campaign, it just became disrespectful. It's just like, you're really disrespecting my intelligence at that point. Really? Read the room. You're gonna get Oprah out of everybody with everything going on right now. Oprah and Beyonce, really? No tea, no shade to Oprah and Beyonce, but it's just like, is that really a good strategy to bring in? Come on now. Come on now. Let me know your thoughts on the comments down below. What are your thoughts? Like, honestly and truly, be transparent, be free. Like, let me know your thoughts. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you're notified whenever I post a new video. Follow me on my social media as we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, because we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. I love y'all all. God bless y'all. And this is Uduak, connecting people with policy. Toodles!